Okay, last but certainly not least, I'm very pleased to introduce Asanka Abesinghe, who's our CTO. Asanka has been in WSO2 for almost 17 years, and he's been a thought leader in various aspects of enterprise architecture, solution architecture, the right way to design things, the right way to build things in so many different aspects. He's written a ton of papers. He's a regular keynote speaker at conferences. And he's the one who came up with the cell architecture concept along with Paul Fremantle, who was our founding CTO, and also various other things that we do ourselves and that which have now become industry standard practice as well. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome Asanka Abesinghe.
Hello. Anyone can recognize the soundtrack that played? Sorry? Yeah. Okay. So I thought you couldn't recognize. So it's Metallica. Why Metallica? Because Metallica, I'll tell the story. So we went to one of the Metallica concerts, and then we thought it will be our age people and maybe people who's older than us. Yes, there were, but then again, there were a lot of teenagers. We were surprised. Why there were a lot of teenagers? Because they have modernized their music. Still people are listening to their music. So I thought, take this as an example to say you have to rethink, adapt, and evolve. That's the real modernization. So with that, I put this title to rethink, adapt, and evolve, and it's a mindset. So if we look back, this is what really happened. Like there were a lot of really good keynotes. Even I learned a lot. And there were different tracks and a lot of information that you gathered. So if I look at it from your angle, it's like this. Your cognitive load is really high because a lot of information, and then the energy is really low. So my goal is to make it like this. I'll try my best. So yesterday, Jeff Paul, our global head of sales, he asked me during the party, what are you going to tell tomorrow? What are the 3 things that you are going to tell tomorrow? I said, I don't know, Jeff. Now everything is already shared by other speakers, and I had to figure out something. And before me, Rania is coming and speaking about AI, and then Gerald hijacked platform, and even platformless. So I was thinking, what should I do? Then I thought, okay, based on the conversations I had during the event, pick 3 things that a lot of people ask about mindset, architecture, and value. Jeff, my friend, this is the answer for your question. So let's start with the mindset. Okay, these are the 2 dogs that I mentioned during the fireside chat, Reese and Bo. So they are in a mindset. Why? They want to go and play in the backyard. Okay, so that's they want to execute, go and play. Because of that, they are in a mindset. So it's like that, like you have to be in that mindset to go and execute this modernization as well. So I played Metallica, but I don't want to disappoint you with basketball because everybody expecting that I tell something about basketball. And why it related to this? Because Kobe used to say it's Mamba mentality. So that's a mindset. And even if you take LeBron, he's 40 years old, but playing at MVP level. Why? Because it's a mindset. He evolve, he practice, take new techniques, and then be competitive because he's modernizing day by day. So we can see it in the athletic field. A lot of athletes do this, so that's modernization, and that's a mindset that we should have. So when it comes to modernization, we have to look at it from different layers. First, at the infrastructure level, what type of modernization we should do. And then we have to get into the software engineering level and look at what type of modernization we should do, and then business and strategy. Like that, each and every layer that we should go up and then look at what type of modernization that we should do, and then connect each and every strategy that we need to incorporate with different layers. So that's the mindset we should have. And then there are different type of styles that you can take when it comes to modernization. This list is not built by me. It's an industry standard. I think Gartner introduced this different type of styles. So the first thing is about rehost. It's about like sometimes people say lift and shift, that you take it as it is and then move to a different platform. And then re-platform is basically by doing minimal changes, whatever the minimal changes that you want to do, and then take it to a different platform. Then re-architect is a common thing because sometimes the architecture might be not helpful to be modern, so you have to re-architect it. And then you have to rebuild sometimes because re-architecture might be connected with rebuild as well. So you have to rebuild, and sometimes you have to replace some of the technologies that you are doing. Again, it's not only one strategy or style that you might use. You might use a combination of these styles when it comes to modernization. It totally depending on where you are and then where you are heading to and what type of goals that you are having. So again, there are no like silver bullets in this. You have to analyze where you are and then decide where you are heading to by picking the correct style. So these are the kind of common styles that we see in the market. So moving to the next, it's about the architecture, because there are a lot of questions asked about the architecture modernization, and then what we should do, and then what are the things that we should practice, because without having a proper architecture, even you modernize, it might not work properly and not provide the results that you are looking at from your modernization efforts. So what type of an architecture we require? We need a decentralized architecture, but with a federated governance, because when it comes to enterprise, you need some governance. So it has to be a federated governance that certain things can be controlled centrally, but provide the freedom for these autonomous teams to operate at their level as well. So decentralized federated governance architecture is what we require when it comes to modernization. Then two fundamental things that will help us to have a decentralized and a federated governance is this control of a control plane and a data plane. So it's a common style that most of the organizations are using. And even if you carefully listen to the product GMs who presented on day one, they explain the product architecture also changed. Our product architecture also changed to this control plane and data plane, and it's a common style that we are using in the product as well. So to explain about the control plane and data plane, my analogy is a train and a train system. So if you take the rails, those are data planes, and then the compartments that go on top of the rails, those are the data that transport here and there. And then the control plane is, there's a control center that controlling this train. So it's a good example. Even if you take an airport, the same scenario can be applied. So having that control plane and the data plane will provide us to have that decentralized as well as federated governed architecture. So that's where cell architecture is coming into the picture. So this is a picture that from a podcast recording. Paul Fremantle, Sanjeev mentioned about Paul. He's our founding CTO who co-authored the cell architecture paper with me. So he featured in our podcast, and this is a picture from a recording studio. So he said, cell gives structure to life, just like foundation of modern software systems. So without them, everything would be a big blob of mush. Because without having that, it's really hard to manage a decentralized architecture. Now, when microservices came into the picture, everybody started writing microservices. When you are in the stage of 10, 15, 20 microservices, it's okay. When it comes to 100, 200, and 1,000 microservices, it was really hard to manage this stuff as well as find the dependencies and improve the system. So as a solution, we introduce cell architecture. So that's where it is helping to have that decentralized nature, but you can manage these workloads in an enterprise. So these are like fundamental concept of cell architecture, that you have a cell, and then you have gateways, components, and cells can be deployed and managed, and you can assign a team to do the development of that particular cell as well. Then one question one of the attendees asked, your paper got one gateway, but your implementation got many gateways. So it's about this. When you are applying something, you have to take the pattern and then you have to apply the context. When we were implementing Choreo, or our internal developer platform, we identified it's not only one gateway, you need many gateways to handle the traffic. That's why we put the context into the pattern, and the reference implementation got many gateways. So it looks like this, that you have the northbound gateway, you have the southbound gateway, westbound, eastbound, northbound taking the ingress traffic coming from outside, and then southbound dispatching the egress output going out from the enterprise, and then east and west handling the internal traffic coming and going out from the cells. That's why we have put 4 gateways into certain cells. But then again, it depends on the communication. If there are no southbound communication, that cell doesn't require a gateway as a southbound gateway or the egress gateway at the bottom. So that's the answer for that particular question. Then cells are delivering different type of outputs. So it can be different invocation styles, that it can be request response, or it can be event driven. Sometimes people call it as publish and subscribe, and then it can be a streaming invocation style as well. And then it provides different type of content types. It can provide data, business logic, events, and including AI outputs, as well as the AI decisions that coming from different type of models can be categorized into these content types. And then various protocols can be associated with the cell boundary and export it from the cell gateway. So various protocols, including the newest one called the MCP, or Model Context Protocol. So I know it is on top of JSON RPC, but I read the spec. I don't have much details about that. But all these type of protocols can be supported and expose it from the cell, as well as you can allow the cell to communicate using these styles and protocols as well. So that's the flexibility that you get when you bring cell architecture into your enterprise. Then so this is based on another question that one of the attendees asked. It's about how I can convince the organization to do modernization. So these are some of the stuff actually you can tell them. So again, cell architecture helping to have this infrastructure modernization. You can easily implement blue, green, or canary type of deployment styles. Then it will reduce the risk. Well, like when you modernize something and put a newer version, you might have to roll back. So this pattern will help with that. And cell architecture can make it easy for you to have a blue, green, and canary deployment. Then zero trust security. I think if you attended to some of these sessions in the internal developer platform track, they explain about how we have implemented zero trust. Again, with the cell architecture concepts, it's really easy to implement that. So you can have a zero trust environment. Then the policy-driven auto-scaling, as well as scale to zero. So those are some advantages that you can bring that will reduce a lot of costs because especially environments like development and test environments can be scaled to zero very easily. So that will reduce the infrastructure cost a lot. And then multi-cloud hybrid support those type of styles that you can run your workloads in different clouds as well as have a hybrid approach to run some of the stuff locally and then some stuff in a hyperscaler. So those kind of infrastructure modernization style can be easily achieved by using cell-based architecture. So if you need to tell about the need as well as the advantages that you are getting by moving to a more decentralized and decentralized architecture like cell-based architecture, you can easily take some of these points and create your pitch. So this is the cell-based architecture if we put it to the enterprise architecture. And Rania mentioned about this shiny new AI bringing into enterprise. So cell architecture will help you to do that very easily. Now you can bring AI into the enterprise architecture. So the application that the mobile app we have for conference, we have some agents written. I think currently we have deployed everything into a single cell, but still we are working on it. What's the correct way of doing that? So agent can be a component, or agent can be a cell, or number of cells. Still, we don't know what's the best practice. I couldn't sit with Rania and figure it out. So let's see. And once we figure it out, we will write a paper and then tell you what are the best practices. But I think it can be multiple ways based on the behavior of the agents as well as how agents should operate. So it can be a component, cell, or multiple cells. We'll give you more information about that later. So then the third part is about the value, right? So you have to look at the value because sometimes it's really hard to convince the business why some of the technical related modernization is required. So you need to highlight the value. So if you bring value, you will have more customers. This is from a Metallica concert. See the crowd. That's the reason for them to modernize. And not only the quantity, right? You need happy customers as well. So that's another thing about the value, why you have to generate more value and then make sure you get more customers as well as happy customers. So the value is moving upwards. Like you can look at it from the product, you can look at it from the architecture, and then you can get into the strategy. So when it comes to these three layers, the different type of value generated, and you can pitch it to your business by telling, okay, once I do the product modernization, I can gain this type of value. And then when I modify or modernize my architecture, and then strategy level, different type of value I can bring to the organization. So that's how the value is moving upwards. And then value is cascading as well. Like you can see different layers can generate value and then send it to the next layer. The network of systems will generate value and give it to the digital products, and then digital products will feed into the value stream of the organization. So identifying those values and then defining the goals will help you to decide what are the modernization required as well as what's the priority. Because it's really important to identify the priority as well. So that way you can make a better impact and generate more value for your organization. So then that's where the platformless modernization is coming. So I put only one slide because Gerald explained clearly what is platformless. A nice analogy about the dishwasher as well. So Sanjeeva had this slide explaining that the technology abstractions, business abstractions, and where your focus should be. So I want to reiterate it and tell, okay, you need to have the focus at the business abstraction level, not on the technology abstraction level. The technology abstractions if you do that, basically, then you will have a platformless experience for you because you are on top of the platform and building these business abstractions. So another question asked by a candidate, what do you exactly mean by business abstractions? Then those are the things that you build, services, APIs, integrations, and the applications that touched by the end users and then agents as well. So those type of things that get direct access from the consumers, like customers, partners, and employees, are the business abstractions that you should build. And then you should build it in a way that you can reuse it. You should be able to compose it, not only compose, you should be able to recompose it as well if you do it at the correct way and by following a correct architecture. So that's where the toolkit coming. So we provide you the toolkit with the foundation elements. So we provide the API management, identity access management, integration, and the internal developer platform. So this is like salt, pepper, and oil, and then you get a nice kitchen counter. If we put the cooking analogy, so the foundational stuff plus a nice kitchen counter for you to make food. So that's why we are mainly focusing on these three areas and providing this for you. So it's a journey. Sanjeeva highlighted this. Modernization is a journey, and you are in that particular journey. So what you want to be is your technology partner, not just like a vendor relationship. We want to be your technology partner in your modernization journey. So that's our objective and the goal. So I would like to finish with this. Again, modernization is a mindset that drives us to rethink, adapt, and evolve. So you have to be in that mindset and keep on doing this repeatedly, because there's no kind of an end game. Based on the technology changes happening, based on the business changes happening, you have to modernize your application stack and your business stack as well. Both technology abstractions as well as the business abstractions need to be modernized accordingly. That's it. Thank you very much.